little lady did fabulous in the trailer last night. She is so quiet. She trailers at, look at her cute little nose. At 2 years old, she is quieter in the trailer than most people's aged horses. She is just a good girl. She did a good job eating last night, and she didn't drink much, so when I get home I'm going to be giving her electrolytes and make sure that she gets her fluids. But I'm pretty happy with how she handled it. And this trailer is, she's got so much room in here, and she's just so little that it's like, you know, a nice big box stall for her. So she was comfy, and it's airy, and she's got stuff to look at. So now let's get her home. I can't wait. We are just a few miles from home, and we've just kind of been taking the last few minutes to reflect on our trip and how amazing of an experience it was for all of us in a lot of different ways. It's really fun when you can take the opportunity to just go and do something new and learn about the way somebody else does things with their horses, or you know, just try something new. So when we first got there, you know, the very first thing that we did is we went out and saw all the babies in the field and just drove around, and it was like horsey heaven. You know, it was just awesome. And Lance was telling us a story about how, you know, he couldn't find one of the babies, and finally found it, and it actually had ended up in the creek for who knows how long, if it happened overnight or whatever. But anyway, the baby was doing really well, and thought that it would be just fine. And so the next thing that happened then is I got to meet my filly at least, but then the foal that had been found in the creek wasn't doing so good. So the next thing on our agenda, I mean, this is just minutes after meeting the Freilichs, we are in and helping administer IV fluids, and well, helping meaning like we just helped hold down the baby and that sort of stuff, but and keeping the mama separated and all that. But that was a different experience for all of us. And then after that, we separated all the mamas into different herds depending on what stallion they were going to be turned out with for the summer. So the mamas and babies all got put out into their pastures, and we got to go along for the whole thing. And there's a large amount of brood mares, so it was quite a production, but it went so smooth and it was so organized, and you can tell they just really know what they're doing, and they know the bloodline so well and what produces a quality product. That was just super neat. So to see all the stallions and see all the babies, and it was just amazing, and to see how the stallions react to the herd, a very cool experience. And then after that, we just got to go and tour the land a little bit, and that was just super cool to have. It's one thing to go somewhere and just visit it, and there's another thing to go somewhere and then have somebody who knows the area show you the cool stuff. So that's something that we got to do, and I think that was pretty darn neat. And then the next day, to get up right away and get to go to a branding was just an experience that, you know, I've been waiting my whole life to be able to do something like that. That's on my bucket list. So it was really neat. I want to start learning how to rope a little bit, and it was a great eye-opener. Helped me learn what my goals are to be able to do things like that, and I got great hands-on experience on a really awesome horse. You know, I got to go and ride through some amazing terrain, round up cattle, go in and take way more heel shots than I can even think of, which, you know, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. I never did catch one. I managed to, I got both hind feet a couple of times, but didn't get to the point where I was able to actually drag them up for branding. So, and I did catch one foot a few times, and everybody was so kind and helpful and encouraging, and it was just like a big fun event and just really, really neat stuff to do. And then this horse that I've got with me, she is just traveling so fantastic. I can't wait to get her home and get to know her really well. Just awesome quality horses that are just bred to do a job. I just can't wait. So that's my take on the couple of days. And so Katie, what was your take on everything, and what did you get to do? And
it was really, the coolest part for me was definitely vaccinating all those calves. That was really fun. I can't even count how many calves I got to vaccinate. That was so cool. Like, I couldn't even keep up. Like, at first I was just kind of standing there stunned, like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, I just stood there and watched for a second, and then I was like, okay, like, game on, I guess. I'm gonna go for this. Here we go. So I just tried to keep up, and then I got my flow going, and then I just didn't even know what was happening. I didn't even know what Brandy was doing. Didn't know where Danny was.
Busy. We all had jobs.
Yeah, we had a job to do.
Great.
It was great. I love having a job to do. So I felt like I was, participating, and I felt like, I had some type of value and I was helping. So that was awesome. And to be able to learn how they do all that stuff was awesome, because that was also something that was on my bucket list to, be a part of something like that. So it was so cool to see the whole process and see how people do things. And it was so cool watching them bring all the cattle down from the pastures. Was so neat, like, because they were way out in the fields and you could just see them coming like from far out, and they were just getting closer and closer and closer, and all of a sudden they were there. So that was really cool to watch, and to just help out with sorting all the mares and the foals the night before. That was really cool, and getting to see the countryside up close and personal. And the Freilichs were so nice, and it was just an awesome experience. It was a great time.
Well, Danny, what did you get to do, and what was your take on the trip?
Well, on Saturday, me and their kids, we were staying there while they were all sorting out the horses. We were keeping the baby down while he was still getting back
IV fluids.
And so that was a great experience. And on Sunday during the cattle branding, I was helping my mom. I was marking the calves to show that they have gotten that shot, and it was awesome seeing all the horses and stuff.
And tried to stay out of the way, making sure we didn't get run
Not
over.
Get run over by random cows
or
everywhere.
branded.
Yeah.
That was a real fear.
Yeah. And on a sad note, the baby ended up not making it. The foal did die, and we also got to experience how that can be done in a manner that is most natural for the horse. The baby passed, and the mama was able to just stand there with them until she no longer showed interest. And it's nature. It's something that happens, and it was terribly sad, and it was a big loss, but it does happen, especially when you have several of them. Your chances of losing one is, it's just eventually going to happen. So, but we were there. It was just neat to be there for all of that, and to gain that much more life experience ourselves. We like to make the most out of everything that we do, and it was awesome. So we are so close to home, and I can't wait to get my girl out of the trailer and see how she feels about having her feet back on the ground again. She's been in a trailer for a very long time, and she's handling it like a champ. So, peace out.
All right, Carly, go ahead and open up.
Courtney, is the fence on? I don't want to just let her touch it. You know, like she wants to go towards trigger.
It's the only way to let her touch it. I don't necessarily want to be holding her while she touches it. Hopefully she makes the right decision if she touches it.
Go through it then.
Yeah. That's why I said hopefully she makes the right decision while she's touching it. Hopefully she can see it.
I'm the same way when my kids get close to the fence. I'm like,
Uh-huh. She's gonna.
She sees it.
She sees it. She's gonna touch it.
Huh?
So she's gonna. I know. Oh, hopefully she'll touch it over here.
I'd be afraid of water.
She got it. She got it. There. Good.
Oh, she doesn't know where to go though.
Good girl. That's good. That's good. I'm glad she touched it over there.
Yeah. She's gonna be scared of that kid though. She just touched the electric fence twice, so where she's from, there's not electric fencing. And so this is gonna be a big change for her, but this is what we have in mostly in our area. So she's just gonna have to get used to it. But so the reason I got this horse is because I'm gonna be doing a colt starting clinic and I needed a colt. And so she's the one that I picked to do this colt starting clinic. And I'm really excited to have a horse that I start from scratch for myself, and I'm the only one that rides and can see how far I can carry her through her training. I'm really excited to be able to do that stuff. So this horse is for me, so she's not going to be used as a lesson horse or anything like that. That's not my plans for her. I will post regular videos on her progress and what I'm doing with her. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot. I'm gonna start her under saddle in September. But before then, I'll just focus on getting her really good and gentle. And she's barely halter broke. She's had minimal handling, and that's exactly what I wanted. She has spent her whole life just living out on the range, and that's what I was looking for. Okay, thank you all for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends, and comment below. I'd love to hear what you think of my new girl. And be sure to comment too with name suggestions. I'm really excited to hear what everybody has to say. So thanks so much. Have a great day.